Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be part 6 of Sinistar. Same day, later on in the day. Trying to get this game finished up. What I need to do now on this control panel here is I need to fill in the holes that are not supposed to be there. These are about 1.1 inch holes. They don't make a dowel rod that's 1.1 inch. So I bought an 1 3/8 dowel rod, poplar, and we're gonna cut like some 1-inch strips of them. We're gonna cut them, and then we gotta go on my bench grinder and grind it down until it fits in this hole. So there's quite a bit to grind down, probably a good 1/8 inch or so, maybe even a hair more actually. But so we need to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have to make 10 of them. I'm gonna cut one and show you how I do it, and then I'm gonna do the rest of them, and then we'll come back and we'll get them glued in. So I'm gonna cut it a little bit wider than 3/4. And your cuts don't need to be straight because I'm making it fatter than what it needs to be. So now I'm going to go over to my grinder. Basically, I'm going to cut the other 9 at the same time, and then they'll all be ready, and then I'll just sit over here and be very bored for a while and grind them down until they fit in the holes. Cabinets in the way. All right, that should give me enough room. So basically, gonna sit here on the grinder, plug it in first. It works better if it's plugged into the wall. All right. Just gonna spin it around like this. And try not to grind my fingers in the process. It actually takes it down pretty quickly. And it doesn't need to be perfectly round either. You just need it to fit in the hole. I'm almost wondering if I should see if a 1-inch dowel rod will fit in there. I don't have one here though. By the time I go drive and buy one, I'll probably have these made. Still need a little bit more. Yeah, I'm gonna have to measure this. I must have been wrong, because on the last control panel I did, it was 1.1 inch, and they don't make an 1.1 inch dowel rod. But these look like they're a little bit smaller holes. I wonder if these are 1-inch holes. I do have to go to Home Depot anyways today, so maybe I'll go up there and grab a 1-inch dowel rod. And that pretty much fits in there, just a little bit tight still. Let me grab a tape measure and measure this, because maybe I'm wasting time, and like I said, I gotta go to Home Depot anyways, so maybe I'll go grab a 1-inch dowel rod if these measure out to be 1 inch. Let me go see. No, they are 1.1 inch. Yeah, this is 1 3/8. I could probably get 1 1/4 inch, but I'm not gonna waste my money on getting a rod that I still have to do this to. I knew they were 1 1/8 because they usually always are. grind it down a hair more. Okay, it's gonna fit in there. Once I tap it in with the hammer, it'll go all the way in. So I need to make 9 more like that. So I'm gonna make 10 of them, total of 10. And then we'll come back and we'll glue them and put them all in. Now, technically, I don't need to do this because the metal plate that goes on top of here, let me grab it. Which I still gotta do a little bit of work to it. Maybe this one edge is a little crooked, which it doesn't really matter because it's gonna get a little bit of Bondo work done to it. See, technically it doesn't matter. I could just get away with putting this plate on and saying heck with those other ones, but I just want to fill them in. I don't want to have it look like Swiss cheese on the bottom side. So I'm going to go ahead and get the other ones made, and then we'll come back and we're going to tap all these in and get them glued in place. Okay, I got them all done. Took me about 20 minutes. They're not perfectly round or anything like that. Doesn't matter. So we gotta get these out. We're gonna glue them and pound them in so they're just past flush on the inside. And then we can sand them down in a little while here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get all these glued in and then put it outside for a little bit in the sun. Well, if the sun comes back, and let it dry for a couple hours. And then I can get these sanded down, and then we can do some Bondo work to it. Okay, I'm just sticking through the other side. I'll show you guys afterwards. And then we'll have to come back and drill some of these buttonholes the rest of the way because this, like this one right here, is going halfway through the buttonhole. So we'll have to come back and clean that up. Don't know if I'm going to use a router or what yet. Probably a router is going to be my best bet. We're going to have to do this to the bubbles too. Got plenty of dowel rod left for that. I put a paper towel down so I didn't get a bunch of glue on my counter, which shouldn't really happen, but well, I'm going to probably rotate it so it doesn't drip all over the inside. It's already dripping a little bit, but I'll wipe it off. This one might be a little tight. Yeah, this one's a little tight. See if I can use it here. There we go. Put it on that one. Oh, you know what? I think I gotta turn it this way. Okay. You can see how they're kind of just poking through the other side. So now I'm going to let this dry for a couple hours, and then we can knock them down, and then we can do a little bit of Bondo work to them. So I will be back in a little while. Okay, this has been drying for several hours. I'm gonna take my little multi-tool here and cut the height of them down almost perfectly flush, and then I'll take a sander and sand it the rest of the way down. Okay, now I got them just about flush with that tool. So now I just got to come back and sand them down a little bit, and then we'll be ready to router out what we need to router out, and then we can start bondoing it up. Now, I like to Bondo these in too, because the new control panel overlays are not super thick, and if somebody pushes right here, it just cracks it into the hole. So I usually Bondo over those. So let me grab sander. We'll start sanding this down now. Okay, I got my big sander here. We're gonna knock it down real quick. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is get my router, and we're gonna router out what we need to make these holes back the way they were again. After that, I'm going to paint, I'm actually gonna paint real quick the bottom side of the metal plate now, and then I'm going to mount that to this piece of wood. And then I'm gonna run Bondo between the wood and the metal, because this is kind of divoted up from I don't know what, but I want to make sure that that transition is nice and smooth between the metal and the wood. I don't want the control panel to look like crap when it gets put in. So let me get a router and get these edges routed out, and then we can get that metal plate put back on here, and then start doing our Bondo work over the metal plate and the wood. Okay, I got my router set up with a 1/2 inch straight cutting bit. I gotta eyeball this and just freehand it. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, because the holes in the metal plate are what hold the button straight. So if I get a little bit off course, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna obviously try my best not to. I'm doing this down on the ground because it's easier to hold it with my foot than up on a stand and do it that way. All right, now I'm going to lower my bit down. There we go. Now we have them all routed back out. This hole's not perfect right here. Somebody messed with it a little bit before me, but that's fine. The metal will fix all that. So now what we can do is get the metal plate screwed onto here, and then start doing some Bondo work to it. Sorry, I'm a little high there on the camera. So yeah, I'm gonna get the, somebody had drilled a little hole there. I'll probably put a little Bondo in it. Not too worried about that one. So let me get set up here, and we'll get this plate put on. Okay, I spray painted the bottom of this plate just to satin black, because this is regular steel and I don't want it to rust in the future. So I went ahead and painted it, the backside, and I'm not worried about the wood, just needed to get the metal painted. Now we can get this placed on here and screwed down, and then we can do some Bondo work to it. And if you guys remember from a long while back, we had countersunk these holes so that the heads of these screws would be flush with the panel. And this one has, have to do something different with that one because there was a previous hole there, a bigger one. So I'm gonna have to put some, a toothpick or something in there. I don't have anything out here. I'll have to get something. Once I get this plate screwed down, I'm going to sand it down to scuff it up so that some Bondo would stick to it. Because I want a Bondo. This is the edge right here. I want a Bondo. If you look, it's probably hard to see on the video, but there's like little divots going down this edge, like 3 or 4 spots. So if I don't put a coat of mud right here, Bondo, it's going to be all ripply when I put the control panel overlay on it. It's not going to look good. Okay, let me go grab a toothpick and we'll see if we can't make that screw fit in that hole. Okay, I grabbed a toothpick. I'm just going to break it in half and see if I need 1 or 2 in that hole. I'm going to let it fall through towards the bottom. Break it off on the underside. Perfect. I'm gonna go sand this down real quick and I'll come back. Okay, it's sanded down. I'm gonna put one more screw right here. I don't know if I forgot to drill that one or if originally it didn't have one there. It looks like it didn't have one there. Well, it's tough to say. Probably didn't have one there. But that's fine. We're gonna put one in because it's bouncing a little bit right here. You probably can't see it in the video, or maybe you can, but I wanna get that screwed down and tight. So we need to drill that double hole again. That's all I want to do is get through the metal. Don't really want to get into that wood real deep because I want my screw to be nice and tight in there. Yeah, 5/16 is what I believe we used last time to countersink it. Try that, see if that's deep enough. Screw's a little high, but the metal went down. If the screw ends up a hair high, I'll just grind the head down a little bit. It's a hair high, I'm gonna go grind that down, but that's not flexing anymore now. So now once we put our Bondo on here, it won't crack in the future. Okay, now I can mix up some Bondo, get this coated. I'm gonna put a little bit on the back side too, just to kind of smooth it out. I'm gonna put a little bit over the screw heads. If for some reason in the future somebody wanted to take that metal plate off, you could, by simply just gouging out the Bondo and getting to the screws. Why somebody would take it off again, I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't happen. But if it does, they can get to it. So this isn't hurting anything, but I can't leave it like that. Just want to test fit this. It's not bad. Not bad. Little tiny wavy on the hole. It's not perfect, but can only do so much. I did get a new ball top. I don't know if I told you guys that or not. I found a guy that remade one remade them in red. So I have the right ball top. It came with the shaft and everything. So I got to take this shaft out and the ball and then put the new one on. So that'll make that look just like it originally should be. And I did find the original joystick for Bubbles. So I have the original joystick for Bubbles Arcade as well with the blue top. So we are good with both of those games now, having the right joysticks. The only game down there that doesn't have the right joystick is Satan's Hollow. And to be honest with you, it's that one I made is working pretty darn good. It got a slight bit of movement forward and back, but not bad at all. So let's mix up some Bondo here. Probably end up taking 2 coats to get this covered. And then we're just gonna spray paint this whole thing inside and out with a little bit of black spray paint. Not going crazy with it. Probably just paint it outside, laying up against a piece of cardboard or something. And I'm just gonna keep sanding outside too, so I don't have to hook up my vacuum and everything in here. I'm running out of hardener for some reason. Well, wintertime was here, and usually in the wintertime I end up using a little bit more hardener because it takes longer for stuff to dry in the winter, even with the heat on in the shop. So hopefully I should have enough hardener to finish this up. That tube's about empty. The only hard thing left is going to be that wiring for that coin door. Figured out how I want to do that yet, because I don't have that other plug end unless I find one. I don't even know what size it is. Okay, let's get a thin coat out here. I might get it in 1 coat, but I'm not going to, if I'm at all iffy about it, I'm gonna put a 2nd coat on, because this is the most important part. You see this edge right here. Originally they used aluminum for that top plate, but I couldn't find a piece in the size I needed locally, that is. I could have ordered one, but I didn't see it being necessary because I knew I was going to paint this anyways. And you can see these holes are going to need 2 coats no matter what I do. Oh, it's hot today. Dripping sweat. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that like that. Now I'm going to try to put a coat on this side with it standing up so I don't disturb the other side. Now there are holes for where the leaf switches screw into the wood, but I'm going to end up having a Bondo over those. It's not a big deal. Just put new screw holes in it when I screw the leaf switches back in, because I'm filling in these other joystick holes that were here, because somebody had a regular like 8-way joystick in this cabinet. I mixed up too much Bondo. I try not to waste too much of it. Oh boy, I almost filled in the holes I need. And this doesn't need to look perfect, but I'm just trying to make it look a little bit more presentable. That stuff's drying, so we're good there. So we're gonna let that dry and then come back, sand it real quick and put another coat on. All right, I'm gonna get this coat sanded down here. Sand the back first. Grab my other sander. It's not as aggressive as this one. Okay, I'm gonna get one more coat put on and then get it sanded down, then I'll come back. Okay, I'm just gonna put a couple light coats of spray paint on here. Nothing crazy, nothing that has to look perfect. Just gives it a little bit something better to stick to with the vinyl. And it keeps this metal from rusting in the future. So I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 coats on everything and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm in the basement now. It's actually been a couple days since I was working on this and got it painted. So this paint has actually been drying for a couple days. I got a little busy with work. So what I wanna do now is get the overlay put on first. It's nice, perfect width. So now what I'm gonna do is, this is how I usually do it. Should probably get a couple clamps. Let me grab a couple clamps so I can clamp it to the wood, and then I'm gonna show you how I usually do it. Okay, I got some of these. They're like a sheet metal style clamp. I like using these. They tend to hold the artwork pretty good. Now, how I usually like to do this is, I think I've showed you guys before. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I take a light and I like to shine it from underneath the control panel. By doing that, it shows through the top of the control panel, usually, and you can see where the holes are. So you can line them up really well. I'm actually going to turn the lights down in here. I wonder if I should just turn them off. Hopefully I'm not blinding the camera with that light. I very well might be. Yes, I am. Okay, let me bring it around here. Okay, good. Now you can see that a little bit better. So when I hold this up to this, see that? See how you can see through? See exactly where those holes are at? And you can line up exactly what you need to line up. And you can move it around if you need to. Looks like it's going to work out to be just about perfect right to this top edge. And the two sides are good too. Now I'm going to move my light over just to kind of see how we're looking here. We're pretty close. I mean, it's never going to be perfect. I think I'm going to go with right on that top edge. I think that's where it's going to be. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be 100% perfectly lined up, but they never usually are, unfortunately. Factory ones were pretty darn good. So let me take you guys back around the back side here. Since I know where it's going to sit, I'm not going to leave the light underneath there. So what I'm going to do now is line up my top and my two sides until I got them where I want them. There's a piece of plastic that goes on this edge here that we'll have to staple on at some point. So I'm going to take one of my clamps right here, and we'll put the other one over here, just like that. Now what we're going to do is just peel this back enough to cut a little bit off the paper and then stick the top part down. I'm grabbing a pair of scissors real quick. Okay, I got a pair of scissors so I can cut that backing. I'm going to have to look up what order the button color goes in, because there's blue, red, and orange buttons. I believe fire is orange. I think red is the Cinnabon. And then player 1 and player 2, but I'm not positive. I'll look up a couple pictures, see what I come up with. So I peeled it back just enough to take a pair of scissors here and try not to guide it on the metal underneath there. You want to kind of hold it up off the air, in the air. Just going to lightly set that down there, just like that. Where is my spreader? Right back here. Okay, so now we have it set to where it should be good. So what we're going to do is peel it back a little bit. I want to finish off the top edge here. Now, these corners, I just use my hand. I think that turns out better with the heat from your skin. So let's see here. That looks, it's a little off. I mean, it's a little bit to the inside. But I mean, that's the print. That's nothing to do with me. My main concern is the joystick, which is almost dead on. If these are off a hair, they're off a hair or whatever. It's not bad though. So what I do in the corner here is I just take my palm of my hand on the curve, and I just kind of just work it back and forth. Pull a little bit more paper. Something right there. Piece of dirt in my paint. Okay, got that out. This flat surface, we can use the spreader again. Now we're going to do the same thing with this bottom curve. Okay, it's maybe an 1/8 inch long. So let me grab a knife, we'll trim that, and then we can cut out the buttonholes. I just buy these cheap knives from Harbor Freight. They're like 69 cents a piece. They usually have them at the aisle, the checkout. I always just buy a bunch of them. So all we're doing is trimming it flush. You don't really want this to hang over because the hinge goes there. All right, let me cut out the holes for the carriage bolts. Just gonna make an X. Okay, now we can start cutting out the buttons. You don't have to worry about cutting into the wood on this one because this one has that metal plate that covered the wood for the control panel itself. After I cut out these 2 circles, I'm going to go look and see the order of the button color because I do not know. But I do have a picture of it. And I gotta get fine leaf switches and stuff like that. Hopefully I have enough. I think I ordered more. Not positive, but I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, we have all our holes cut. So let me go do some research and get the rest of the stuff we need to finish this. Okay, I made a little slight mistake, which I'm correcting right now. I bonded in 3 of the wrong holes. So I filled in the holes that are threaded for the joystick. One was good. This one I got about cleaned out. So basically I'm playing dentist here. I'm going in here with these little fine picks, these different style ones that I have, and I'm taking my time and cleaning out the threads and the Bondo so that I can bolt the joystick down. I did take the handle off the joystick and I do have the new one, so I'll show you that in a couple minutes. But I'm going to be doing this for a little bit and then I'll have to come back and we'll have to, once I get this cleaned out, I'll come back and we'll get this joystick mounted. So I have 2.5, almost 3 of the holes cleaned so far. Yeah, he's got a lot of plaque. He really needs to start brushing his teeth better. because this is just unacceptable. All right, let me get this cleaned out, and then we'll come back and we'll get the buttons mounted and the joystick. I don't know if I have leaf switches or not yet. I do have a bunch of leaf switches, but I want to make sure I have all the same ones. I don't know that I have any new ones. I usually have new ones, but I've been building so many games that are using leaf switches anymore that I ran out, and I thought I ordered more, but I don't see them anywhere. So let me get this finished cleaning this out, and then we'll come back and get this stuff mounted. Okay, I got those, I believe, all cleaned out. So now we can get this joystick mounted. I'm not sure. Let me pause it one more time. Okay, I wanted to see which way the wiring harness went in the cabinet, and it goes this way. So I want to make sure I put my, that goes that way for the plug, because I don't think it'll want to reach going the other way. Hopefully that's right. And it doesn't operate backwards. Obviously, if it operates backwards, I have to take this out and spin it 180 degrees the other way. So now we got to try to get these screws in here, which are probably not going to be super easy to do. These, that's the only downfall about these games, is getting the joysticks in them with this wood overhanging. And these ones aren't going to be long enough. These screws are not long enough. Okay, let me get some longer screws. And the ball top joystick on these ones, this is the old one. There's two, they have two E clips, one here and then one at the very bottom. The one at the very bottom holds this spider thing from popping off the end of the shaft. So we need to go up one length on these bolts. Okay. We probably won't wire this one on this episode. I'll probably just get the buttons and joystick mounted, and that'll be it, because this is getting longer of a video, and I'm gonna have to look around for leaf switches and stuff like that. Okay, I got that one started. Feels a little tight. Still a little Bondo in the threads, I'm sure. Can't believe I did that. Oh well. Okay, that's two. Try to get them all started, and then I'll come back and tighten them down. There are some lights that are supposed to go under here, I believe, to light up the buttons. So I got to really look over that wiring diagram and figure out how that works. And I'll have to get some white bulbs. Pretty sure I have some ones with sockets that have a hole for the screws. Okay, now that I have them all started, I'm going back and tightening them all now. This one's tight. I'm gonna have to use a flathead screwdriver on that one, I think. This one and that one are going in good so far. Okay, good. 3 of the 4 are tight. We grab a bigger flathead. Oh, it's going. Just a little tighter than the other ones. Okay. Joystick is mounted. Hopefully it's the right direction. Let me verify the button color now. All right, I remembered correctly. The blue are the player 1 and player 2. Orange is the fire, and red is the Cinnabon. So we have all these clear colored buttons. And like I said, there's a bulb that goes underneath these to light them up. Now these go through the wooden control panel, and then the nut goes right on the backside because the leaf switch itself gets screwed directly to the wood. So I'm gonna have to get screws as well because I don't think I have any tiny wood screws that'll go through those leaf switches. I only have machine screws that will. So I'll put the other blue one on, just get these, just do them in order. Tight fit on this one. Boy, that one don't want to go. Might have to drill out the wood a little bit on a couple of these. That one's fine. I mean, it is what it is. We made the metal piece. It's not going to be exact. I don't have a CNC machine to make them exact. Plus, I don't know how to run one anyways. Yeah, my nut's going on crooked. Okay, well, let's see if this fire one fits, or the Cinnabon one fits. Yep, all three are fitting on this side, but this side they seem to be a little bit off. On the other side, I mean, we'll get them. Just might have to manipulate the wood a little bit. Okay, those three are in. Let's start with the Cinnabon first. Maybe this one will go in. It's like the metal's shifted just a hair, and that's what the problem is. The metal shifted a hair, so the wood is hitting right here. So I need to hollow out the wood on the bottom side of these three buttons. So let me go do that because I'm going to hold this over the garbage can so I don't get a bunch of wood shavings everywhere, and then I'll come back. Okay, hopefully these will fit now. One, but might be a little tight still. Okay, the button's sticking, which it's too tight on the one edge still. So I'm gonna have to mess with that one a little bit more. Let's try this red one. The metal holes are tight too, so that one's good. Oh, it might have fixed itself. It's still a little crooked. So I need to drill out the blue one a hair more, I think. Because I don't want my buttons crooked. There it goes. Okay. Now we can tighten up these. That blue one's still a little off. Yeah, I'm gonna take that blue one out. I'm gonna open up the hole a little bit on the blue one, then we'll come back and put it in, and we should be good to go at that point. Okay, now keep in mind, you know, when you're remaking stuff, if you don't have like a CNC machine and you know how to program, how to cut everything perfect, you're gonna have these little hiccups that you gotta just work through. That metal's tight. I don't understand why. There it goes. Beautiful. Okay. And there's a little bit of a gap there, but I don't really know much I can do about it. I might be able to loosen the joystick and slide it down to space it evenly. This is the new one I had gotten that somebody reproduced, and it's pretty much identical. So now we have the correct red one in here. Now I probably should clean this up and put some paint on it, because it's looking a little ratty. I didn't realize that that was going to show. Right now I just want to see how this looks in here. If I can get it to go. There we go. So that's that. I'm not happy with that. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to evenly space that. There's a little gap right here, which I don't like. Real tight around the other sides. So I think if I could just slide it back a hair, I'll be able to kind of split the difference and it'll look good. So I'll probably just mess with that off camera. So let's end this part. I believe it's part 6. It's been a couple days. I think that's what part it is. So this is going to be the end of part 6 of Sinistar. We have the control panel fixed and partially assembled. I'm going to have to find leaf switches and some screws. So that'll be on part 7. We will get this wired up, the leaf switches in it. We'll get it bolted to the cabinet. We'll wire the coin door. And then I think we're done with it. So I'm thinking one more part should finish this game up. So, all right, guys, if you like what you're seeing, please like, subscribe. Any questions or comments, feel free to send them. And other than that, I will see you guys later.